Mike McCool here. I'm in the Royal Examiner studio today, and with me is Lieutenant Robbie Seal. Robbie is I want to call you the community liaison outreach go-to guy.
You can call me anything you want to, Mike, but we'll stick with that. That's what I am. I'm the community guy.
Okay, you're the community guy. And, typically every month, Robbie comes in from the Warren County Sheriff's Office and keeps us abreast of what's happening in the community and the things that the sheriff's doing. He's skipped a couple months, so he's got a long list. So today we're going to kind of touch base.
We're going to make up for it. Yes,
make up for it. We're going to talk about some of the things that we accomplished in the last couple of months, and then talk about some new things that are going on. So what's on top of the list?
Oh, well, we got a good list here. So like you said, I missed a couple of the last couple of months and everything, but I think the sheriff's kind of took the helm on that.
Well, he did. He did come in a couple times.
Yeah, so yes, my goodness, and that's good. Talked about a lot of things, and of course, one of the things he talked about was he was on the sheriff's camp. Some of the things we've already pretty much gone over or is completed, and we're a success of what we did. The sheriff's youth football camp.
Yeah, the first annual.
Yes, the first annual. More to come, because sheriff was big on obviously outreach to community, youth, and everything, and so we put on a football camp, and it was a good success, good turnout, and everything. We had Robert Henson, our own former football player with the Washington football team. Was there with some of his cast, and really did some good instructional work with the youth out there. So,
and the food was good.
Oh yeah, well, I didn't make it to but I heard the food was good, and that was good to know. So, Drug Take Back Day,
right?
We actually did. It was my second year doing this since I joined the sheriff's office. Last year we only did October with COVID and everything. They the DEA, usually Drug Enforcement Agency, usually does it twice a year, and that's usually in the spring of April each year and October. So skipped spring, obviously, with the onset of COVID last year, but of course October they decided to do it with some of the restrictions that were eased, and we did it that year, and I think we collected like 86 pounds of medications. In October, of course, we had it this past April, and did real well. Had a representative from Valley Health with me, and we sat there at I call it the old complex. It used to be the old urgent care on Commerce Avenue. So it looked like it was worse than Spelunkers when you start
on the drive.
I don't know. I would say worse than Spelunkers.
You're talking about now, not Spelunkers. You're talking about the drive, how to get in there and drive around.
Yeah, let me elaborate a little bit. The drive-through, if you will. People.
It was out in the street.
Yeah, thank you for that, Mike. I wouldn't really want to add the limiters of drugs and Spelunkers, but no. As far as I guess the traffic coming in, car to car wise, we were constantly busy. It was really just a drive-up situation for people to come in, just hand out their bags of unwanted medications.
Yeah, no question, no name, no
questions.
Address,
we had a few people ask. I mean, say that in jest some similar comments to no questions asked, right? But no, we had a very successful turnout. We actually doubled the medication intake of October. It was almost 160 pounds.
Anybody come in and give their kids marijuana there?
Didn't have any of those, but it was very successful. And of course, I drive the sheriff's office van, the old Dare van, and of course, we loaded up all the bags and once we collect them, all the agencies that are involved with Drug Take Back Day basically take their inventory of what they've collected and have to head back to Culpeper where the DEA waits for everybody to show up with their collection. So, and then they weigh it and let you know how much you collected. So it was very successful, and we look obviously to continue it.
Sure.
Here in
October. There was a little confusion this year because the location, they called it the Urgent Care Center and the address, and then.
And I have to thank you. Hadn't had a chance to do that, but you got on. I saw where you got on there, sort of clarified that with some people that said, well, the urgent care is out there at the Crooked
Right. Well, the feds didn't get the address change.
Yeah.
So that was their site, not yours. So.
Yes. And one of the things we found out too, of course, they have a flyer But the flyer really just indicates a website to go onto. With a lot of seniors, they're not really savvy on getting on and looking
Right.
up a link and everything. So we kind of went back and had it put in our sheriff's office web page as well as Facebook to clarify, more
Yeah.
so.
Well, next year
where it was
what we'll
at.
do is we'll have that all set up ahead of time and
Yeah.
and clarify it a little
Yes,
better.
clarify
next
it a
time.
little better, and that was no questions answered.
I think it ought to be longer too. This 10 to 2 or whatever it was. It's like, oh man, I forgot again.
And I think that's really dictated on DEA schedule of being down at the Culpeper Virginia State Police Headquarters and collecting all this. So it's a timing thing for them to be there to collect from all the
Sure,
agencies
sure,
involved.
sure.
So I think that's sort of how the time slot's always been, 10 to 2 and that sort of thing.
Well,
So-
maybe that'll be something the sheriff can do in his new drug take back organization. Is maybe we ought to do this 3 or 4 times a year and just kind of do it local. Maybe.
Well, and
reason you couldn't.
that's a very good idea. It's something that we probably would entertain because there's a lot of people that do not realize that during the year. I know we tapped in. We mentioned before our drug deactivation pouches that we give to people, but people that there was people that had bags. 10, 20
I got a whole
pounds.
box load for the last 3 or 4 years because I miss it every year. You think I would know better, but I get.
Well,
my
and-
wife says, "When is it?" I said, "Yesterday."
Yeah, and I've had people ask for these deactivation pouches because they have so much medication. I tell them, well, I'm going to have to give you, based on the number of medications that you have, I'm going to have to give you probably like 50 bags because each pouch is
Sure.
worth 2 medication pill bottles worth. And I said, better yet, what a lot of people don't realize is our pharmacies, our local pharmacies, family pharmacy for one, takes unwanted medications on a daily basis if people want to turn that in.
Sure.
But going back to what you said, that's something that we could probably entertain and
Well, that'd be a place to do it. Let's just do it
Yeah.
right at the pharmacy and kind of set your table out there, and we'll promote a day. And
yeah. So
there you go. Another thing you can do, Robbie.
Another thing that I can do. Yes.
All right. Well, it was a great success, and I think a lot of people do participate, and it is a good service.
It
that
is.
they do it. Even
It
if the
is.
DEA doesn't take it, maybe we could get the Valley Health to incinerate them or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll work on that.
They'll work on that.
All right. What's number 3?
Actually, speaking of success, you're aware we did the sheriff's office did an outreach of the COVID-19 vaccination toward our shut-ins or homebound seniors or disabled citizens out
We
there.
actually went to their homes.
We actually went to their homes, and of course, we piggybacked off Frederick County. Actually, did it, initiated this, and Terry Byrne, who's the director of our senior center here in town, contacted me and said, "Hey, do you think we can do this? Or sheriff's office would be willing to do this?" And I said, why not? We're not inventing the wheel by any means. We're just doing a service that has been recognized as very effective somewhere else, and so we did. We worked teamed up with the health department, and was 3 weeks ago because actually the second shot we're going out tomorrow for the second vaccination, the follow up, and but we had some like 24 seniors, disabled citizens on the list to take the nurses out to 2 of our school resource officer deputies. Escorted the nurses in their patrol cars and took them out to their addresses of those that were on the list, and I think 17. Some of them had already, by the time we started, had already received their vaccination. But we had 17 that we actually administered the vaccination
good.
shots to.
That's
So it was, and we're actually working on another list, for another outing. But I think again tomorrow, I'm pretty sure tomorrow is our second go around with the second shot. So we're looking forward to doing
Well,
that.
the governor released his today, the 18th. Is today the 18th? Today is the 18th.
It is
so
the 18th.
now that I've said that, I better post this video today, and that is, get your shot,
Yeah.
your vaccine
Yeah.
program. And there's having some walk-in clinics. Of course, the ones they listed on their site is everywhere but in Warren County. But we do have some here, and so that information is good. And I think that shows you the access to the vaccine now is pretty. If you want a shot, you can get one.
Oh yeah,
and they're down to 16 and maybe down as low as 12 years old.
12 years old.
Soon. So.
Yeah.
And once we reach that, we're close to a herd immunity, and we're seeing the mandates have been cut back.
Yeah, with the
released
mask and everything coming out.
mask and the
Yeah.
social distancing, and so we're in the right direction, I think.
We are, and I'm starting to see how that's evolving back to some normalcy with, for what I do when it comes to organizations, what have you, now planning, gatherings and that sort of thing. So,
Right.
and asking the sheriff's office to participate, and I've actually got a few on the list here that we're working with. But
Well, the Front Row Cardinals are called today. Their first game is June 1st, and so they're all the players are starting to come back in, and
Yeah.
we'll have Donna settle in tomorrow to talk to her about finding some. What do we call some homes?
Yes.
To help. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. So if you're interested, to tune in for that. But so I think this, activities are starting to pick up a little bit, and
Well, it's so satisfying. I think if you talk about a fresh air, if you will, when you start seeing like some of our youth sporting programs, taking off again, and actually seeing our children back on the fields playing, and like the soccer.
sure.
And it's just been a long time, and with it's been a task on everybody when it comes to what we've had to deal with, and being isolated, being remote, if you will, and not being able to
Yeah.
out there to do
Yeah.
what we normally do. So.
Yeah. Well, last night we live streamed the Warren County Daniel Morgan girls volleyball team, and again they allowed a little more audience to come in, and you could see the parents coming in, probably 3 or 4 times what normally shows up.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
before you had 10 people. So there's 30 or 40 people. I don't know sure the exact number, but there was quite a few. And cheering on their kids, and the kids were playing. So
Oh, yeah.
You can watch that game replay, by the way, on the Royal Examiner.
Yep.
It's on there. So we want to put a plug in for that. And and then as we were driving over to the school, the track team was out practicing. And so you're right. We're starting to see that return a little bit, and I think that's good.
And gladly so. It's
good. So what's the number are we on?
Well,
number 5?
this has been in the news, of course. The Royal Examiner, MY, is really
We're right on top of everything,
plugged
aren't we?
everything. I tell you what, you guys are right on it.
So you must be talking about National Police Week.
No, that's next. Actually,
is
the convenience site trash
Oh,
initiative.
yes.
And,
I didn't want to say that. I was going to say the sheriff's been in the news with a sludge war.
Well, yeah.
We're talking about the
the sludge war, and of course,
convenience site dumping trash.
The interesting thing, if you will, about this is, and I mentioned it before, is and the sheriff joked about it, obviously when the sludge aspect of it came up, and he looked at me, he says, you got me into this. It's all your fault. I said, why is it my fault? He said, well, you took the initiative on, helping the compactor sites and everything, which I agreed. And I said, and I joked back with him. I said, well, Sheriff, I said, I start off small. I said, you want to be the big sheriff and take it to another level.
That's right. Well, I think the one thing to remember, too, is that, we talk about, we don't like the trash piling up at the dumpster, but on the positive side, if it doesn't go there, it's going along the road and into people's fields and things. So, I think we need to come up with a plan that will allow the dumpsters maybe a little more 7 days a week access. I know it costs, but it costs money to clean up trash, the illegal dumping, and that's a problem still.
It does.
And I know the sheriff's involved into that.
We're more than happy to. Like I said, Mike, this was something that I talked to Sheriff Butler about, and thought we needed to bring it up. As far as assisting our county solid waste program and tackling this issue and enforcing some of the ordinances in the county related to the trash dumping and issues. And so the good thing is we really got a concerted effort now with our board of supervisors doing work, a couple work sessions addressing some of the alternatives, remedies, and much like what you just said.
Sure.
So I think, with all of us on board and those taking place, the things that will be taking place based on those work sessions, I think we're going to see a great, vast improvement with the unsightly trash that's been seen.
Well, to me, I get on my soapbox here, but to me, littering it's like the ultimate crime, so to speak. I mean, nothing worse. I'm pulling up to the red light, and a car opens their door and dumps their ashtray out in the middle of the road. I said, what is
Yeah.
That's something about an attitude that people have, or just throw bottles out the line. I'll give you a real experience with law enforcement when I was 16. Of course, we're cruising around, town, not in Front Royal.
Okay.
We were in Tucson, Arizona, and it was like, it was only 2:00 in the morning. What 16-year-olds out at 2:00 in the morning? So we're cruising around, and a friend of mine was with me, and we're going down this street, and all of a sudden, red lights all over the place. I'm thinking, your heart jumps out of your chest.
Yeah.
Police officer comes up. He didn't even come up to my side of the car. He walked to the passenger side of the car and asked the kid in there, said, "Where's that Coke can you just had?" He threw it out the window, I didn't see that, and luckily he never asked to see my license or read nothing. He pulled that out to show you your ID. He wrote that kid a ticket for littering.
Yeah.
And made him go get that thing and pick it up and give him a ticket at 2:00.
And what time were you out?
Well, I call it 2:00. It might have been midnight.
They didn't have a curfew in Tucson, did they?
No. So anyway,
I'm putting Mike on the spot.
I was saying this, but the maybe that's where I got my littering fetish.
Yeah.
Not a fetish, but you know what I mean.
Well,
it really bothers me about people that litter. I just think it smacks of.
Oh yeah, and I as well, because if I didn't have such a disdain for that kind of practice, I would not have pushed this as far as a measure that we're doing, as part of the sheriff's office.
If you've ever ridden in my car, you'll know that the back seat is the trash. I mean, don't you ever clean this out? Yeah, but I did a couple days ago. So I throw everything in the back, or I got a trash can I carry.
Well,
back
I always say, our vehicles are our added closet, if you will, mobile closet for the most part. So.
I know we're kidding about it, but it's a serious thing. It is serious, and it reflects our community.
It does,
and that's the first thing people see when they drive into our community is the trash. Last month, the Kiwanis, and I know the sheriff, not the sheriff, but the chief of police was out there, and they picked up trash just on one road, Kendrick Lane, going to the police station.
Yep.
They picked up 12 full bags of trash just going from, Royal Avenue to Kendrick Lane.
Yeah. And it's not every. I mean, it's a practice by a few in the county to do it, and it's repetitive.
Yep.
For the most part, when I'm out there at the convenience site, just like I was out there last Wednesday, and a handful of people came up and saw me out there, and they're, right off the bat, they said, "We're just so glad you're out here."
Sure.
And then someone would comment on the unsightly trash they see.
Sure.
So we're making we hope again. To make a difference. That's Sheriff Butler's slogan, and from the time he ran his campaign. Stronger together, and we will when it comes to what we're working on with this trash. So just another measure of what we're tackling out here. Mentioned National Police Week. I saw you out there doing your bit with the Rural Examiner and with the camera and everything. And
we did the fallen officer memorial service there at the gazebo. That went well.
Yeah, it went very well.
Well attended by our public. It was well attended.
Yes, it was.
And you can watch that again on.
But definitely an important week that we all recognize, and law enforcement as a community. We have such tremendous support, and I can't overstate that enough when I see the people out there that just show that support and that care. When it comes to what law enforcement represents to them in their community, and it does. We don't, and I always say this. I'm a prime example of someone that doesn't seek recognition whatsoever. I just put on this uniform, go out there and do my job, and serve the people, and that's my mentality. That's my DNA. I mention DNA all the time.
Sure.
And when people come up to you and unsolicited and just give you their thanks and appreciation, it does make you feel good that you're doing something out there, and practicing what you've always wanted to do in this uniform. So.
We appreciate that. The Tim Radigan and Back the Blue organization has been real instrumental on supporting the Leos, and we at National Media produced a bunch of yard signs that. Yeah. Well, now we have a new one.
Yeah.
A new one that's coming out. We displayed it at the gazebo last week, and so the fact. They should be sitting downstairs as we speak. So
okay.
I'm going to give those to Tim. So if you, I think the other ones are about gone. I think we ran out of the other ones, and so the new one is more generic. So you'll see it,
Yeah.
Back to Blue. So if you want one of those yard signs for your yard, you can get hold of Tim Rattigan, Back to Blue. You can check him out on Facebook. And
Yeah, I talked to Tim there at the memorial, and yeah, I got a hat. He made sure I got a hat, ball cap that day. So,
that's
but
good.
He's a prime example of somebody that really is taking his passion of how he feels about law enforcement and taking it up to another level and,
Sure.
and showing his appreciation.
Well,
So we thank you, Tim.
You guys look good in that dress blue uniform,
Well,
black, or whatever color they were.
Yeah, actually,
well, you look pretty good. Had your white shirt on, and everything.
Tell you what, well, it's the first time I wore a white shirt, and had to get used to that. Wearing, but I think overall the honor guards,
They look sharp.
They look,
And that's a lot of
tremendous.
work. Let's give some
Yeah.
kudos to the honor
Yeah.
guard. They don't realize you just don't put the uniform and stand there and look pretty. I mean,
No.
it's a lot of work.
Well,
doing-
I served 16 years in honor guard when I was at the police department when we initiated, implemented our first fraternal order of police
Right.
honor guard, and yeah, it does. It takes a lot of work. It takes some training too, and obviously
Sure.
we were fortunate enough to have the Navy honor guard train us on memorial services and folding the flag and
It's
how
a
to
lot of
conduct
work.
them.
It's a lot of work.
So, but the front row PD and the sheriff's office honor guard looked really sharp.
They look real good
They
together.
really did. So,
All right.
our certified crime prevention. This has been in the news. Certified crime prevention community program. Something that Major Driscoll is really he jumped on this while he was at the academy and learned about it and is pushing this this program. It's been in the news. Been on our website, Facebook. Something that we are looking to become the 13th community to be certified as a crime prevention community.
Yeah, that's something the sheriff ran on. I mean, to get the
Yeah.
to get the training and the certification of things, because it does help
Well,
our policing effort.
It does. It opens up a new, and of course we pride ourselves obviously of being a proactive agency. But this just really takes us over, I guess, over the hill, over the map, or however the saying goes, when it comes to being really proactive in our efforts to make our community even more safer. I'm working with businesses, working with the community as a whole, and letting not only our community, but letting the Commonwealth and the nation as a whole know that, hey, this is going to be a safe community. When it obviously businesses and people that are looking to relocate, move into here. One of the things they do the research. They look exactly how safe the community is for them to establish a business, establish a home, and when they see designations like this, it reinforces in their minds that Warren County is going to be a great place for them to consider to move into and live, because we're working to keep this the quality of life the best we can when it comes to teaching, providing crime prevention measures, and just keeping our community as safe as possible. So we've got 12 core values that are instrumental in working on this, getting this program certified. And if we do become certified, we get have to go through a recertification process every 3 years. So there's something that we're working on and hopefully establishing.
Well,
it's going to be a good thing. It's really going to be, and of course, I am going to get help finally, Mike, when it comes to the things that I do. So we're looking to add a promoted sergeant to the community policing unit.
so you actually have an employee.
Yeah. You got me on that one. Yeah, that's good.
Someone you can delegate to. Right?
Yeah, actually, well, of course, being the I guess moi lieutenant is that Sheriff Butler designated me as. I think more so my style is more as far as designating, it's working with. So that's sort of been my sort of been my personality, and no matter who I work with, who works under me, and everything, it's a good working relationship and getting the work done that needs to be done.
Good.
So yeah, so. Those are the things that they're actually working on, but we got some things coming up here in the community. You have had Michelle, thank you, Michelle
and Laura.
Matthew here and Laura here on the Hope Arising Festival, and of course we're working with them. as far as the sheriff's office, providing, maybe a canine demo, and actually our drone may be doing a drone demonstration as well with our drone program. So some of the things we're helping them with as far as the sheriff's office with that. So Hope Rising Festival that's coming up this June 12th to 13th.
June 12th and 13th. If you drive down Royal Avenue, you'll see their big banner hanging over the street.
Oh yeah,
Which made by National Media Services. So
oh,
we had to get that plug in there.
You're doing a lot of plugs to that.
We do a lot of, people say, what do you do down there? I said, well, it'd probably be easier to tell you what we don't do. And if we can't do it, we know a guy.
Exactly.
But that's going to be a great activity. Michelle and Laura, you can see their town talk we did with them. And they just kind of like, it's time. There's hope in our community, and that's why the name Hope Rising.
Yeah,
and so
good name.
This is a festival that's going to be on June 12th and half a day on the 13th, Sunday afternoon. So go to church in the morning and then go over to the festival in Bing Crosby and check that out. There's going to be a lot of activities. It's a free event. It's going to be really great.
I think it's going to be a great event. Really, I mean, for events, it's just started off to for the first time.
Sure. Well, we plan to do it every year.
Yep. I can see
or
it.
Whenever the need arises, maybe more than once.
More than you never know.
You can never have too much hope.
This thing can really get big. They've really done an outstanding job with it so far.
And William Huck has helped using his foundation to fund the insurance and the background and give them some of his experience on putting on these events. So,
anytime you get Crazy Willie involved, you can't help it but be a happening event, so to speak.
So what else you got?
Well, other than that, we actually got Humane Society, a great fun annual fundraiser to do, Wagon for Dragons.
That's coming up later in the year.
Yeah, we got contacted about...
Are you going to have a team?
We've already got the fundraising in. We've got the fundraising in before we got the team. I'm working on the team. And
you got to come up with like 21 people or something like that.
We got to come up with 20 people to outfit the...
Who's going to sit on the back and yell out the stroke?
Well, when I grew up in Hawaii, and of course one of the things in Hawaii was I was a member of an outrigger canoe team. That was much like to have sporting events, softball, baseball, football.
Oh yeah.
Over there, it's canoe clubs, and I used to canoe when I was a teenager, but I was the power guy. The power guys are your third, fourth, fifth guy, so in the middle. So no, I don't think I'd be a caller. They probably put me back in the power position. But no, looking forward to that. Yeah, looking forward to that. We just got to get a team wise, and I've tasked our guys within the sheriff's office, and of course a big sponsor who actually jumped on board with us and helped with the total fundraiser was our Fraternal and Front Royal Warren County Fraternal Order of Police, organization. So thank you to our great FOP organization for a worthwhile endeavor and fundraising for the Humane Society.
Great group.
And this actually, it's actually in August, so we've got time to build the team. So we're looking.
All right, I know y'all want to see some teams. They need the teams.
Yep,
they need the teams.
Absolutely. You met this young man. I think he was in here on business with you, Matt Huff.
Yes.
Matt Huff. Well, Matt Huff actually had a meeting with myself and actually met with the sheriff. This young man has a passion, has unbelievable energy, and just a citizen out here that wants to do good and for the community, and especially veterans. And he came up with an idea of coming up with a benefit softball game. Something that's coming up down the road. I think hopefully I don't think he's planning maybe August, September. But just somebody that is looking to get out there to help fundraise to get this softball game between law enforcement, and first responders, that sort of thing, to benefit disabled veterans.
Right, he's working with Skip Rogers over at Able Forces.
Yes.
So I know they're working with Skip and the sheriff to try to pull together these times, and I spent some time with Matt last week, and we discussed the different things and the options and how we can do it. So he left here with a whole, he was excited. You could tell he's on fire.
Yeah.
And I think this thing will happen, and it'll be great. It'll be great.
Yeah. He and I told him it'd be a good idea for him to sit at the table with me next time we're here. And,
there we go.
And kind of promote what we're going to be doing with that. And other than that, we have the last and not least on my list is our Front Row Soccer Association is putting on their annual Soccerplex showcase, what they call their Soccerplex showcase, and that's on June 5th, and we'll be participating. The sheriff's office will with I'll have my table there with handouts and that sort of thing. But we'll have probably a canine demonstration as well as our simulator rollover vehicle and our Bearcat armored vehicle there as well. So some of the things we're looking to just get involved. Again, prime example of things opening up where we can can be involved with I guess groups of people again. So
Well, I have another thing that you're going to be doing, and you didn't mention.
what is
The
it?
22nd, Saturday,
This Saturday?
or is it Friday? When is the prom? The 22nd.
Oh my goodness.
And you forgot that the sheriff's office is going to be running security at the prom.
Well, the reason I didn't know that was because our patrol division pretty much handles those type of things. So,
But the sheriff stepped up.
That's good.
The sheriff
That's
stepped
good.
up. I think Willie twisted his arm.
Yeah.
But I understood. Now I could be wrong, but so now they're going to do it
Yeah.
because we mentioned it, right?
Yeah.
But they're going.
Good.
That prom thing is just taken on a life of its own. I just talked to Rebecca, one of the leaders of the group there, and they had at the time, it was a couple of days ago, they had 315 seniors coming, or people, seniors coming to this prom.
Right.
At the gazebo. That's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
And so it's really a lot of work. It's no cost to the seniors. And I seen her post on Facebook. Oh, these people with last minute, they have cutoff dates.
Yeah.
It takes time.
Yeah.
They're going to be very strict
Yeah.
on just can't come and go and do it. There's chaperones. The sheriff's office will be patrolling around the area. But if you're a senior and your date you can't make it. Your date can't come unless they're a senior.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
they're not just letting everybody walk through the gate and party. So,
Yeah.
but they're going to have a music. It's going to have. I think it's great. The
I think it's
community. That's kind of going to set the summer off with a tone of a little normalcy.
Yeah.
Coming back to our community.
Yeah.
I think if we can get the kids on there, I think everyone else will fall in line.
Well, if you look at how we are as a society anyway, we follow our kids.
Sure.
As parents, our kids get involved in whatever they get, that they get involved with, and we're taking them there. We're, being involved with whatever they do. So I agree. Yeah,
And prom is one of those things that I always call it a rite of passage. You
Yeah.
know, that people look towards. I didn't. I worked that night. I didn't go to the prom, but
Yeah.
But it's something that people do and they look forward
Yeah.
to, and it's great. And it's good to have people in the community that want to put these things on, because this was just a private citizen
Yeah.
group that got together and says, our kids need this.
Yeah.
It's not sponsored by the school or the council or the town or the county or anyone. It's just, this is a complete private event that took the ball and ran with it.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
good. And we're seeing that with Back to Blue.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of these
Yeah.
activities are going on in our
Well,
community.
let's not stop there since we mentioned kids, and I almost left this right off my list. But I have a flyer here. Actually, our Fun Day. You've heard of our Fun Day?
Yes.
The Sheriff's Fun Day event, and actually we are establishing 2 days. It was sort of a alternative to the Sheriff's Summer Youth Camp, which
Right.
was held for years. Of course, that was held up at the 4-H Center, which pretty much could not hold, because of COVID, hold the event. So last year we decided, with the kids, everybody being, sheltered indoors and everything, let's have a fun day. So we had our first fun day last year, and it was a huge success. And so we're looking to have two of these. The first one is July 21st, and the second one would be on August the 2nd from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And when we start talking about Fun Day, we're looking at 11 to 13-year-old kids. Doesn't cost them a dime. We're actually looking for kids. We need kids out
That's
here
right.
interested in signing up for this fun day camp or fun day. And what we do is much like we did last year. Of course, the weather wasn't cooperative for a canoe trip, but we're hoping to incorporate a canoe float, on the river. And then actually we're going to have a lot of food, free food, and courtesy of our businesses. Master Deputy Cindy Burke has been very instrumental with getting out there and getting businesses to contribute to Fun Day. But yeah, and then of course we Skyline Ranch Resort donated their pool last year, so we did some swimming. They had a pond, fishing pond, so we take the kids fishing as well. So some of the great activities, demonstrations by our canine officers.
That's the right age too, 11 to 13.
11
That's
to 13.
Right where you get those tweens.
Yeah.
You need to get.
And
in
so
there.
we're still looking. We're looking for our kids out there, 11 to 13. Out there that Warren County residents that wish to be involved with our deputies for a great 2 days, 2 separate days in July and August of this fun day. We need to hear from you. You can always just call and ask for Lieutenant Robbie Seal at the Sheriff's Office at the Sheriff's Office phone number, 540-635-4128. So we want to get as many kids as we can, to participate in this.
Well, the only activity I think I want to touch base on, and I know you'll be at it, and that's the community. I'm going to be posting today the a town talk with Ed Richards from the community band, American Legion Community Band. They are starting their rehearsals back, and they plan to do their first concert on July the 2nd at the 4-H Center with fireworks.
Really?
So
wow.
I heard a rumor that the fireworks have already been bought and paid for, so I don't know if it's true or not, so we're going to call it a rumor.
Right.
But the plan is community band concert July the 2nd, that's a Friday night, kick off the weekend, fireworks at the 4-H Center. So
can you imagine? Remember, the town used to have all the Friday night, entertainment there, and of course that was a wash with everything. Can you imagine that? How that's going to? You talk about a crowd coming to something like that. Wow, that's going to be tremendous.
It'll be great to people get out in the community. So that's the plan, I hear. So we're going to we'll be addressing more as the details work out. But so don't plan to go out of town that weekend.
Yeah.
Stay right here. Have a staycation.
Staycation.
It's a staycation.
I like that.
You like that? That's a big thing now. We're going to have a staycation. So there's a lot of other activities planned over that weekend. I think people have a lot of pent-up demand to do something.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, maybe we'll have a few block parties. And I'm trying to twist the sheriff's arm about getting the trailer set up, and let's have the Warren County Sheriff block party trailer that you can rent for $25, and it has tables and chairs and cones, and the sheriff will show up or the deputy, he'll delegate to Lieutenant Robbie Seal, because that's a community activity.
He probably will, yeah.
But we need to have some block parties, and I think people need to put on small little groups in their community. People just don't know their neighbor, and it's kind of, let's call it our neighborhood watch rejuvenation. Maybe that's something. This is another one of my soapboxes I want to get on.
And you touched off on something that is really going back on the COVID vaccination when we there's a lot of press on that, and I had gotten quite a few phone calls from citizens out in various parts of the county, pretty much telling us what a great program that was. And then of course when I started speaking with them about what all we're doing with with our community policing initiatives, and which means getting out there in the neighborhoods and
it's all about your neighbors.
Meetings. And they said, well, we had no idea that you did that. We have a community center, we have meetings. I said, well, by all means, I said we would love to come to community centers and introduce ourselves, introduce our programs, what we do, what we can do for you that you probably weren't even aware of, and to assist some of the things that you do in your neighborhood. So yeah, that perfect example of
we got to work on
how we get out there.
That's what it's about, because we want to see our police officers in a different light. That we don't want to have to always call on them when there's a problem. I did another plug for the Royal Examiner here.
No,
during National Police Week, we put up quite a few stories about, and one of them was how to talk to your children about the police.
Yeah.
And that's something too, because when we were growing up, we're gonna call the sheriff on you, or kind of use it as a fear. It's like going to the dentist.
That always disturbed me
and
about
we
that.
and that's not good. That's why I think kids have a fear of the dentist, because we didn't grow up with a good thing. And the thing with the police, they're there not just to write you a ticket, and because there is no quotas, they can write all they want. Yeah, Robbie's line is press hard, 5 copies, right? So
that's funny.
I know. So Robbie, it's always a pleasure. This one's gone a little longer than then what we got a lot to talk
Well, we
about.
had to. What we did, we had to make up for.
This is a 3-month town
3
talk.
months. So we'll shorten it up next time,
But there's always good things that you bring to the community, and we want to let people be aware of them. We'll put some of those things in the text of the story as well, and some links to what's going on in our community. But if you're an organization, you have something you want to get out to our community, send us a note at news@royalexaminer.com. We can have you in our studio. Maybe even bring Robbie along to help.
absolutely.
Twist his arm. Again, thanks again, Robbie. Really appreciate
My pleasure,
everything
Mike.
that you do and that Sheriff Butler does. I think he's doing a great job.
Well, I know he's doing a great job. I wouldn't be with him if I didn't think he was going to be doing a good job. And every day is just a new eye opener for what lies down the road as far as things we're going to do. So.
Well, next week I think we're going over to his office and doing another one of his
Are you?
sheriff visits. So maybe we'll see you there.
All right.
All right. Thanks again, Robbie.
All right.
Oh, you're going to shake my hand?
Yes.
All right. Good enough.
Yes.
Thanks.
All right.